In Missoula County, we've had about 120 cases of the flu reported to us this year so far. Not this year as in 2015, but this flu season. We got our first cases the last week in November, and we've definitely seen a jump in cases in the last week or so, which is totally what we would expect. We do tend to see a lot more flu as the holidays come and go because people are traveling to other parts of the country and possibly bringing flu back with them, and it's the season for flu right now. The other thing that we are seeing with this particular flu that's been circulating is that the flu vaccine actually has 3 different strains of the flu, that you're protected from when you get the flu vaccine. There's one H2N3, which is an influenza A. There's also influenza A H1N1, and then there's also an influenza B strain that is represented in the vaccine. The flu that we're starting to see circulating is the H2N3 version of the flu, but there's been a little bit of an antigenic shift, which means that it's very close to what's in the vaccine, but not exact. So we're still telling people that you should get vaccinated because if the chances are you're most likely going to be covered anyway because it's so close. And if you aren't protected from the flu and you get that particular strain, it's going to be a very, very mild version of the flu compared to the really severe version, which we typically see with the H2N3.
All right. Now, what are the signs that we're getting the flu?
Well, it usually starts off like a cold, except you run a really high fever, you feel extremely fatigued, you get a lot of that like chest congestion and nasal congestion kind of symptoms, and it lasts for about 10 days or so.
Now, at what point do we have to really think about hospitalization or some real medical contact?
Well, the people that are the most affected by, especially this particular strain of the flu that's circulating this year, are older people and very young children, and people who have chronic health conditions. So if you fall into one of those categories and you're having symptoms that are consistent with the flu, and or you're running a very high temperature, struggling breathing, anything like that where you just feel like you can't function at all, then it's really important to touch base with your doctor. A lot of time doctors would like for you to just call in and talk to them. They can kind of assess your symptoms to determine if you need to actually come in for a visit because we don't want to congregate and, spread the flu around even more. So we do recommend that you touch base with your doctor, though, if you're running a really high fever, having difficulty breathing or anything along those lines, or if you're just one of those groups that's really susceptible to complications from the flu.
All right. Now, sensitive question, have there been any deaths via the flu in western Montana this year?
There have not. I'm not sure about western Montana as a whole, but I can tell you that in Missoula County we have not yet had any deaths. However, we've had over a dozen hospitalizations that are related to flu. So it is very important to protect yourself and protect your family. Get your flu shot, wash your hands, cover your cough, stay away from people who are sick if it's possible. And if you get sick yourself, it's really important to stay home.